Page 70, Alexander's Ragtime Band. Treble and bass clef, 4/4 time. We're in the key of F major. There's one flat in the key signature. Make sure you can do the F major scale. And this piece goes through pages 70 and 71. It's a little longer, but there's no repeat signs or anything. We just go straight through it. Got a lot of eighth note stuff going on. In fact, they're introducing you to the eighth rest. It's a new symbol you have to know from now on. They show you at the top of the page what it looks like. I need to caution you that music notation has evolved over time. So if you're hand drawing any of these symbols, make sure that little flag goes off to the left. Because the same symbol, but the flag going to the right is a different symbol. It's not used anymore, but it used to be used, so you may confuse some people. And if you happen to be reading music that was printed like 100 years ago and they're still around, you may occasionally see that symbol where it looks like an eighth rest, but the flag goes the other direction. That's a quarter rest. That's the old symbol for quarter rest. Now they use that squiggly thing, the diamond bird thing, as a quarter rest. Just be aware that flag has to go to the left on this symbol. It works the same way as an eighth note, except you're quiet. So however long an eighth note gets, the rest gets the same amount, but you're quiet. That's all. Let's cover this one hand at a time, make sure we've got the rhythms. We're coming in on a pickup beat again because there's only 1.5 counts there. So if you look at the end, the last measure on page 71, you got a quarter note, 1 count, another quarter note's 2 counts, and then an eighth note is a half a count, 2.5 counts, and 1.5 at the beginning. That makes 4, so we're okay. We're just coming in on the and of 3. 3 and. So at the beginning here, you're in this position, but you got a G sharp here, so we're just going to do that. 3 and 4. Remember the accidental is good for the rest of the measure. So both of those G's are G sharps. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. See the eighth rest? You lift up on beat 3 for half a count. So again, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. You change hand position. Now it's a G natural because we crossed the bar line. Then once you lift up and come up here, that's all right. This is kind of awkward, and you only get a half a beat rest to move up there, but it's not a lot I can do about it here. You're just here, and then it's the rhythm-wise is measure 8, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just read these notes, you'll be fine. During the rest, come down, 1 and. You recognize these notes as a broken chord? That they are. And then measure 13. Now come up. Now B naturals. Yes, both of those B's are B natural. Remember the accidental? A natural sign's an accidental. It's good for the rest of the measure. But measure 16, now it's a B flat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, interesting. Now, Honey Lamb is what did it. The measure 16, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And this is the same thing you had before. Let's go down to the third line. Measure 24. You're here, 1 and 2 and 3. B natural. Quarter notes, not bad. And then reach up to the octave. You should know that's an F. If you don't, you know it now. And then a G sharp. You can finger it that way if you need to. But the fingering in the book is fine if you can do it. And then they give you a B natural. More B naturals. And then lift a third finger. Bring third finger down. It's the last 2 measures at the bottom. It's third finger. And then for the last chord, I recommend you just reach up and use 2-5. You don't need to move. I know there's a rest, you got time, but I like to leave my hand in one spot if I can, so I just reach up. Left hand's broken chords. Rest, rest. Okay. Let's go down to the bottom of page 70. Let's measure 13. This is still broken chords. It's just a different pattern. It's just spread out a little bit here. In the last measure, you go to a C. Rest. You come up during. You do that some more. Oh goody. Third line on page 71. You're here. Rest. It's an A, E flat. And if you can't get up in here, then you got to do this. But if you can, use the fingering in the book. And B naturals, go ahead and use the same finger. There's other fingerings, but this is fine. Last line. You can use 4 on the F sharp if you want, but otherwise 5. And then here, here, and here. We've had this pattern before in the last measure. Here and down. Okay, put the hands together. Here. And when you play the beat 3, the right hand comes up. And I hold it down, to hold this down, and then lift up when I do the A. Right there. So it's weird. So again, here. Put the hands together and then go back through and get rid of the hesitations. You can go slow, but no hesitations allowed anywhere. Work on those spots and get rid of them. Then we add in the articulation, and really the only articulation for the most part are the slurs. Well, you have to lift up between the slurs here because they give you rests. That's built in. And the left hand, just do the best you can. Chop, chop, rest, chop, chop, rest. Rest. I can connect the first 2 notes, and then you can't connect the repeated notes. That's how I do it. You don't have to. I can disconnect them all. That's interpreting the music. You decide how you want to do it, or your teacher will tell you how you want to do it. Oh, that's fine too. Now at the bottom of page 71, last measure, you get an accent on the last note. Play just a little louder. In my opinion, it's unnecessary. You don't need an accent on that note because you'll notice the 2 F's. That's fortissimo. Very loud. You don't need an accent on a very loud note. That's silly. So just forget the accent and just play both hands together very loud. All right. Speaking of dynamics, that's the melody, which is the right hand. Whatever you think, sort of, just play it. Keep the left hand soft. You're going to go up and measure 4 up to loud. Now on this measure 4, you're soft. You go up to moderately soft. You go up a little bit in the left hand. Because you can't go up the right hand, you're holding the note down. But this, that's loud. So it's... You're staying loud. They never tell you to come back down. They leave you up there loud. So I'm telling you, I think that's an error. I'm telling you a measure 8, when you go into measure 9, come back down to the moderately loud like you were at the beginning. And then on measure 20, you go back up to loud again. However, they want you to go up to loud on measure 24. They're like, what? You're already loud. Well, that tells you somewhere you need to come down so you can go back up. Where do you come down? Well, probably around measure 23. And so come back down, and then you can go back up. I don't agree with these dynamics at all. This is a happy piece, but you don't have to blast it out all the time. I like a little soft occasionally, but these dynamics we're having problems with because they're not really telling you. From measure 25 on, you're loud until the very last chord where it's very loud. But before that, you can go between moderately soft and moderately loud, kind of get to know it and how do you feel it. and you do the dynamics. It's an arrangement. You can change the dynamics once you understand the dynamics that are here. Then if you feel it different, play it different in this arrangement. As far as the speed goes, well, it's a happy piece, but don't play. I tend to play it too fast. That's too fast. You don't want to go that fast. It's sort of in the middle, so it's the overall feel. Remember, when you're playing loud, you got to keep the wrist flexible. Don't tense up and play with stiff wrist. If you find you're tensing up and playing with stiff wrist, stop. Relax. Try it again. Make an effort to keep your wrist relaxed. They should be collapsing a little bit on these notes. Collapse each time. And this one, you can collapse on the first beat. That's the natural accent. You want it ba-da-da-da. Go to here, here, here. So let the wrist collapse a little bit on these. I'd like to play this with you very slowly. Let's just check all the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any dynamics. We're just going to play both hands about the same. I'll give us 2.5 counts. Ready and go, and 3. Something like that. Ready and go, and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 3 and. And 4 and.